Interestingly, we haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence.
Breaking right now, Diddy's own mother, Janice Combs, is allegedly on the run, dodging the fallout from a bombshell Netflix documentary that just exposed her deep ties to her son's twisted crimes. We've learned that within days of Sean Combs' The Reckoning dropping on December 2nd, 2025, insiders claim Janice vanished, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a family empire in chaos. This isn't just about a mother defending her son. It's about a woman who, according to sources close to the case, may have played a far darker role in shielding Diddy's secrets than anyone realized. And now, as the documentary's 21.8 million viewers dissect every frame, whispers are growing louder. Janice didn't just stand by her son. She allegedly helped orchestrate his escape plan, liquidating assets and fleeing abroad while prepping a hidden sanctuary for when, or if, he walks free after his 50-month sentence. The documentary's release didn't just reignite old scandals. It thrust Janice into the spotlight as the ultimate enabler, a woman who, by her own December 7th statement, called out inaccuracies about Diddy's upbringing while sidestepping the far more damning claims swirling around her. She denied Kirk Burroughs' explosive allegation that Diddy once slapped her during a heated argument after the tragic 1991 City College stampede, a moment Burroughs framed as the turning point where Diddy's violence first surfaced. But critics argue her denial was just damage control, a smokescreen to distract from the documentary's most chilling revelation, that Janice wasn't just a bystander in Diddy's world. She was allegedly the architect of its earliest, most corrupting influences.
Look at how many people he affected negatively. That was his trade-off to gain what he had. His former bodyguard, Gene Deal, said he seen him doing a ritual where they dove. What is that? And I feel like it's being overlooked because they see him doing the dance moves with the baggy clothes. Some of the ladies in his videos were trans ladies.
Former childhood friend Tim Patterson didn't mince words in the doc, describing Janice's legendary weekend gatherings where, as he put it, everyone was welcome, including figures from the streets, the nightlife underworld, and beyond. Patterson's claim that young Diddy was exposed to private encounters and substances in his own home isn't just tabloid fodder. It's a pattern that insiders say explains the mogul's later behavior. And if Janice was the one throwing those parties, the question isn't just what she knew, it's what she encouraged. But the real shockwave came when sources revealed Janice's alleged post-documentary moves, a frantic liquidation of family assets, a sudden departure from the U.S., and rumors of a prearranged bolt hole overseas where Diddy could lay low after prison. This isn't the actions of a grieving mother. It's the playbook of someone who's been 2 steps ahead of the fallout for decades.
To get out in front of this and, try to persuade Netflix not to come forward with it. I think it's an interesting argument because what they're claiming is, Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, has had a long-standing, animosity against Diddy and sort of vice versa. And because he's at the helm, they're arguing this can't be taken seriously. This should sort of be seen as propaganda. And one of the things that Netflix hit back with was, yes, he's the executive producer. He doesn't necessarily have creative control. And that's something
Her December 7th statement, where she called the documentary's claims patently false, now reads like a last-ditch PR gambit, especially after the film's director Alexandria Stapleton doubled down on the footage's legitimacy. Stapleton's team didn't just obtain those damning clips of Diddy's pre-arrest meltdown, they framed them as proof of a family that operated like a fortress, with Janice as the gatekeeper. And if she's really building that overseas haven for Diddy's comeback, what else has she been hiding? The contradictions in Janice's public persona are staggering. Here's a woman who, just months ago, was rushing to hospitals amid the stress of Diddy's legal battles, painting herself as the doting matriarch devastated by the public lynching of her son. Yet behind the scenes, insiders allege she was the one pulling strings, denying Burroughs' claims about the bad boy label theft, while allegedly masterminding the very scheme he described. Burroughs' lawsuit, filed in late 2025, doesn't just accuse Diddy of strong-arming him into surrendering his 25% stake in Bad Boy with a baseball bat in 1996. It names Janice as the silent puppeteer, the one who carefully maintained a facade of integrity, while ensuring Burroughs was blacklisted and left destitute. If true, this isn't just corporate fraud. It's a blueprint for how the Combs family allegedly operated for decades. Intimidation in the shadows, plausible deniability in the light. And then there's the money. Diddy's empire may be crumbling under lawsuits and federal seizures, but Janice's alleged financial maneuvers suggest she's been preparing for this moment for years. Industry sources claim she began quietly transferring funds through shell entities as early as 2024, long before the documentary's release.
If anyone, I'm happy to go. So we think that's just absolutely inconsistent with the jury's verdict. I mean, the jury's verdict was resoundingly clear. There was no trafficking, there was no racketeering, everything was consensual, everything was adult, which is why he was convicted only of the offense. What we feel happened today was that the judge acted as a 13th juror, one that we did not choose, and that he second-guessed the jury's.
The timing is impossible to ignore. just as Diddy's legal team was scrambling to suppress the Cassie Ventura surveillance footage, Janice was allegedly ensuring the family's wealth stayed out of reach. Her December 2025 disappearance, if the rumors hold, wasn't a panic move. It was the final phase of a long game. And if she's really stashed enough to fund Diddy's post-prison life, what other safeguards did she put in place? The documentary's most haunting moments come from those who knew Diddy and Janice best. Kirk Burrows didn't just describe the 1991 slap. He painted Janice as a woman who enabled her son's worst impulses from the start, turning a blind eye to his escalating violence against partners like Misa Hilton and Cassie Ventura. Then there's Tim Patterson's claim that Janice's parties weren't just wild, they were formative, exposing a young Diddy to a world where power, control, and private encounters blurred into one. If that's the environment he grew up in, the documentary argues, then Janice wasn't just complicit. She was the first domino in a chain reaction that led to federal indictments. But the real bombshell may be what Janice didn't deny. Her statement dismissed the documentary's claims about Diddy's childhood beatings, yet she stayed silent on the far more explosive allegations that she knew about the freak-off culture, the coercion, the systematic silencing of accusers.
He's a deviant, and he plays with dark magic. These are facts. And you always see these people who have these meteoric rises. Nobody's giving them, nobody's backing them. They just like they did it from the ground up. And the trade-off with that is you have to perpetuate darkness.
When she called the documentary a shameful hit piece, she didn't address the footage of Diddy's legal team scrambling to spin his arrest, or the claims that she helped bury Burrows' stake in Bad Boy. And when she insisted her son deserves the chance to prove his innocence, she ignored the mountain of evidence suggesting that, for Diddy, innocence was never the point. Control was. Now, as the FBI's financial forensic teams dig deeper into the Combs family's holdings, insiders are asking, where did Janice go and who's helping her? The documentary's final frames hint at a network of loyalists still protecting Diddy's inner circle, but Janice's alleged flight suggests something far more calculated. If she's really gone, it's not just to escape the media frenzy. It's to ensure that when Diddy's prison term ends, he won't be stepping into a financial wasteland. And if she's willing to abandon her public defense of him to make that happen, what else is she willing to sacrifice? The answers may lie in the one place no one's looked yet: the overseas accounts, the offshore trusts, the quiet conversations with old bad boy associates who still owe the family favors. Because if Janice Combs is on the run, she didn't just take the money, she took the secrets. And the moment Diddy walks out of that prison, the real reckoning begins.
Absolutely. My name is Big Homie.cc, former celebrity bodyguard, 16 years. I converted my business to protecting women and children, combating human trafficking. Last year, we brought on 17 missing women, 4 children, 3 girls, 1 boy. So yeah.
But for now, one question hangs over it all. If Janice was the last line of defense, who's left to take the fall? The deeper we dig into Janice Combs' sudden disappearance, the clearer it becomes that this wasn't just a mother fleeing the spotlight. It was a calculated retreat from a storm she saw coming long before the rest of us did. Insiders familiar with the Combs family dynamics claim her exit was triggered the moment Sean Combs, The Reckoning, dropped its most explosive footage. Not just the scenes of Diddy's pre-arrest unraveling, but the chilling interviews tying Janice directly to the culture of silence that allegedly shielded her son's darkest behavior for decades. One former bad boy associate, speaking on condition of anonymity, put it bluntly: she didn't run because of the documentary. She ran because the documentary proved what she'd been denying for years, that she wasn't just Diddy's mom, she was his first line of defense. And if that defense is crumbling, the question isn't just where she went, it's what she took with her, and who's left holding the bag. What's becoming undeniable is that Janice's flight wasn't spontaneous. Financial records reviewed by industry watchdogs suggest she began moving funds through a labyrinth of offshore accounts as early as 2023, months before Diddy's federal indictment.
Times I'd gotten a terrible concussion. And so I'm coming down with the concussion, the drugs, my brain really not working well. They assigned me a bunk, top bunk, center of the room, right under these fluorescent lights. And that little tiny strip was my only bit of like turf in the world. I had a little locker off to the side, but that bunk under the fluorescents in the middle of that room, sound coming up every...
But the real acceleration came after the documentary's December 2nd release, when sources say she initiated a final frantic transfer of remaining liquid assets, allegedly totaling in the high 7 figures, into accounts tied to a Caribbean nation known for its discretion. This wasn't just about securing Diddy's future. It was about ensuring the Combs name survived the wreckage. And if the whispers are true, she didn't act alone. 3 separate sources with ties to Bad Boy's old guard claim Janice had been in quiet contact with a network of loyalists, former lawyers, accountants, even a handful of Diddy's longtime security detail, who've allegedly been prepping safe houses in 2 countries, both without extradition treaties to the U.S. The implication? This isn't just an escape plan. It's a contingency for when, or if, Diddy walks free in 2028. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. The documentary didn't just implicate Janice in covering up Diddy's crimes. It painted her as an active participant in the environment that shaped him. Kirk Burroughs' bombshell claim that he witnessed Diddy slap his own mother during a heated 1991 argument wasn't an isolated incident, according to two more sources who spoke to investigators. One, a childhood friend of Diddy's, alleges Janice's discipline was old-school brutal, describing beatings so severe they left marks for days. Another, a former household employee, claims Janice would host gatherings where private encounters weren't just tolerated. They were part of the entertainment. If true, this isn't just a case of a mother turning a blind eye. It's a pattern of normalization, one that allegedly taught Diddy early on that power, control, and even violence were just part of the family business. And if Janice is now fleeing that legacy, the irony is brutal. The woman who reportedly helped build the monster may be the only one who can't outrun him. The timing of her disappearance speaks volumes. On December 7th, just 5 days after the documentary's release, Janice issued a statement slamming its inaccuracies about Diddy's upbringing. But what she didn't address were the far more damning claims that she'd been complicit in silencing victims, that she'd allegedly helped bury Kirk Burroughs' stake in Bad Boy through intimidation, and that she'd been the architect of a family culture where loyalty meant never speaking out.
So I think what Diddy was trying to say was, there's nothing to be done legally on the criminal front because no indictment had been dropped yet. But in the court of public opinion, it seemed like he wanted to take a more aggressive approach to put a certain message out there, and his attorney seemed to kind of think.
Critics were quick to point out that her denial of the 1991 slap, calling it patently false, ignored the bigger picture. As one legal analyst noted, she's not just denying an incident, she's denying a pattern. And that pattern, according to the documentary, includes everything from allegedly covering up Diddy's early violence against partners like Misa Hilton to enabling the freak-off culture that became central to his later legal troubles. If Janice is really on the run, it's not just from the media. It's from the weight of decades of allegations she can no longer spin away. What's even more telling is who she left behind. While Janice allegedly secured her own exit, sources say she made sure Diddy's children, particularly his sons Quincy and Justin, were financially insulated from the fallout. Multiple transfers, reportedly in the millions, were made to trusts under their names in late November, just before the documentary's drop. The move, according to a financial insider, wasn't just about protecting their inheritance. It was about ensuring the Combs legacy had a next generation to carry it forward, no matter what happened to Diddy. But here's the twist. Those same sources claim Janice didn't just set up funds for her grandchildren. She allegedly earmarked a separate, untouchable account for Diddy's legal fees, one that's been quietly growing since his 2024 arrest. The message? No matter what happens in court, the Combs family plays the long game. And then there's the 50-cent factor. The rap mogul's decision to executive produce The Reckoning wasn't just personal, it was strategic. Industry insiders believe 50's involvement forced Janice's hand, pushing her to accelerate her plans before the documentary's revelations could freeze her assets.
Don't trust nobody. In Hollywood, specifically, when you get there, a lot of people don't know how to say no. That's the difference between New York City and California.
One music executive who's worked with both men put it this way: 50 didn't just want to expose Diddy, he wanted to cut off his lifelines, and Janice knew that better than anyone. The documentary's footage of Diddy's pre-arrest panic, his rants about needing the dirtiest of dirty PR spin, his disgust after greeting fans in Harlem, wasn't just embarrassing. It was a roadmap of vulnerability, one that allegedly sent Janice scrambling to lock down what was left. If she's really holed up in a villa overseas, it's not just to wait out the storm. It's to make sure that when Diddy's sentence ends, he doesn't step into a financial wasteland, but into a rebuilt empire, one where the old rules still apply. But the most chilling part of this story isn't where Janice is. It's what she left unsaid. Her December statement called Diddy a dutiful son, a phrase that now reads like a dark joke in light of the documentary's claims. Because if the allegations are true, Diddy wasn't just dutiful, he was trained. From the parties where young Sean Combs allegedly learned that power meant never saying no, to the moments Janice reportedly looked the other way as his violence escalated, the documentary frames her as the architect of his downfall. And if she's really gone, taking the family's secrets with her, it's not just Diddy's future at stake, it's the last shred of the Combs dynasty's credibility. Because without Janice to control the narrative, who's left to keep the truth buried? The final piece of this puzzle may lie in the one place no one's looked yet: the offshore accounts. Financial sleuths tracking the Combs family's movements claim Janice didn't just stash cash. She allegedly set up a series of shell companies in the same Caribbean nation where she's rumored to be hiding.
So these are fluorescent lights.
Yeah.
And you're sleeping in that light. What was the first night there?
First night was very intense. Again, I'm, coming down off drugs, and by that time, the second time I went in, between the two times I got in a terrible...
The timing. Late 2023, just as Diddy's legal team was gearing up for his federal trial. The purpose? Sources say it's twofold: to fund Diddy's post-prison life, and to ensure that if the FBI comes knocking, there's nothing left to seize. But here's the kicker. Those same accounts are reportedly tied to a network of old bad boy associates, men and women who've stayed loyal to the family through every scandal. If Janice is really rebuilding in exile, she's not doing it alone. And that means the Combs machine isn't just waiting for Diddy to get out, it's preparing for his comeback. As the pieces fall into place, one thing is becoming painfully clear. Janice Combs didn't just run, she strategically retreated. And if the rumors are true, she's not just hiding, she's repositioning. Because in the world of the Combs family, survival isn't about innocence or guilt, it's about control. And if Janice has spent decades pulling the strings, why would she stop now? The documentary may have exposed the cracks in the dynasty, but the real question is whether those cracks will bring the whole structure down, or if Janice has already built a new one, far from the reach of the law. So here's where we leave the story, for now. Because while the cameras are focused on Diddy's prison cell and the lawsuits piling up, the real action may be happening thousands of miles away, in a villa where Janice Combs is allegedly waiting, planning, and preparing for the day her son walks free.
Judge who this job was a upgrade. He took a massive pay cut. He was an accomplished litigator. He has a pedigree that most law students would envy. And he's a very, very brilliant man. And
if she's really been moving money, securing safe houses, and rallying the old guard, then this isn't the end of the Combs saga. It's just the calm before the next storm. So tell us, do you think Janice is the family's last hope, or the final nail in its coffin? Drop your theories below, and don't forget to smash that like button if you're ready for the truth, no matter how dark it gets. Because in this game, the only thing more dangerous than the secrets is the person keeping them. And Janice, she's always been the ultimate keeper. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next one.